The second week of the NBA season is officially in the books. I'm going to go over the winners and losers of the season so far. We're going to get into all that plus more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it for today, man. I want to go over the winners and losers so far, kind of some of the things that have shocked, surprised me, not really surprising when it comes down to the season so far. I want to start off with one that, listen, you cannot deny the season that this man's had at the start of the season so far, and that is LaMelo Ball. For somebody who has not been able to stay healthy for the last couple of seasons, LaMelo Ball looks like he's really kind of refined his game. Now, it's a very small sample size so far, and we still need LaMelo to kind of buy in stronger on the defensive side of the ball like his brother Lonzo does. When you look at it so far, he's put up 30.2 points per game on 6.3 assists. He's 60% true shooting on top of everything as well. LaMelo really looks like he's taking that next step as a scorer at least. And the Charlotte Hornets definitely need this when it comes down to it. The last time LaMelo Ball was healthy, the Charlotte Hornets won, 43 games, something like that, I believe. And so this is a team that I think is in a much better position than that team was if LaMelo Ball can stay healthy. They have way more talent. You look at what Brandon Miller's doing. Yeah, they're only 2-4 on the season so far, right? But this is more about LaMelo, the player. LaMelo leading that team in points, leading the team in assists, leading the team in steals. LaMelo Ball is having a really good season. 5 rebounds on top of that as well. Like, he's playing really well. And LaMelo's going off in a lot of key games so far. And, you know, with all the doubt around LaMelo, he's really not only shown that he's back healthy, at least for right now, he's also shown that he may have added some tools to his toolbox as well, and that's what you want to see. LaMelo's still only 23 years old, right? So he's not nearly done adding to his game, growing to his game. There are rookies that came into the league that are older or right around the same age as LaMelo Ball, and so that just shows how much growth he still has left that he can do. But the 47% shooting from the field, the best so far in his career, the 40% shooting from three, the best so far in his career, the 89% from free throw, the best so far in his career. LaMelo Ball is putting up best in just about every statistical category. But the one thing that we want to see LaMelo Ball do better is just be a more engaged defender, in my personal opinion. But it looks like, hey, he's on pace for an all-star season, maybe even an all-NBA season when it comes down to it as well. Hey, he's having a great year right now when it comes down to it. And so if he can keep this up, this is really good. The Charlotte Hornets need to win more basketball games, of course, but he's doing a great job at it. And the pressure that he's putting on the rim as well has been great. 16 drives per 36 minutes, and he's drawing fouls at a faster rate than what he's ever done before. He's really killing it right now is LaMelo Ball, and you got to give him credit. Another one that I kind of had a lot of hope for coming into the season that's definitely been a winner is JJ Redick and the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, JJ and what he's been able to do with the Lakers, like, he's come into this situation looking like a poised NBA coach, having a system, getting the players to buy into the system. The Lakers in 4-2 on the season, being able to use Anthony Davis like he uses Anthony Davis on top of like that balance and ebbs and flows where LeBron, why did I bark on LeBron's name? Well, LeBron still has his moments to be LeBron and take over games. Like, JJ Redick has these guys really bought in. He settled into a rotation very early into the season as well. And that settling into the rotation has allowed guys to kind of understand how and where they need to play together. And the sum of the parts is really getting well. And you got Anthony Davis playing at an MVP caliber level. That's what Anthony Davis is playing at right now. When you look at Anthony Davis, 31 points per game, basically 32. It's 31.8, 12 rebounds, almost 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 3 assists. Anthony Davis is playing out of his mind right now, and he needs to maintain. He's going to be consistent. He still has some things that he definitely needs to work on, but what JJ Redick has been able to do with this team at this early part of his NBA career has been great. It's been huge, and hopefully the Lakers keep maintaining that practice, that patience that they've shown so far. But listen, Austin Reeves is having a great season. Like, JJ's scheme and the vision that he had for this team is really showing out right now. And because of that, listen, JJ Redick could potentially be a candidate for Coach of the Year, depending on how good the Lakers stay for the majority of the season. And there's right now, like, there's been some signs of some concerns for sure from them. It hasn't all been perfect, but hey, you cannot deny what they're doing right now and how well they're playing. And I lay a lot of that at the feet of JJ Redick and what he's been able to do as a first-time head coach, coming in with the vision, the game plan, and the execution. That's part of it. And the players respect him. That's partly because he was a player not too long ago, but like he has the respect of those players as well. And that's something that is a good environment for everything to come together for this union. And we'll see where the Lakers can go. I'm not necessarily a Lakers guy, right? I don't care if the Lakers do great or not. But as a basketball fan, you got to acknowledge what JJ Redick has been able to do with this basketball team at this early part of the season. And then next up, two teams, the OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, how can you not list both of these teams as winners so far? The two undefeated teams left in the season. We'll see which one's the last to fall when it comes down to it. But right now, they have the OKC Thunder have a 17.7 point differential, which ranks second in the league, only behind the Golden State Warriors, crazily enough. And then when you look at what they've done without having Isaiah Hartenstein, hasn't even checked in for a game for them yet, right? So when you look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, what Alex Caruso has done for the plus minus of that team in his 20 minutes per game as well, the OKC Thunder are showing that they're a force. And while teams, they maybe not have been the favorite from some people to be the one to come out the West, you're going to have to start turning those heads. And what Chet's doing, what Shai's doing, both these players right now putting up MVP caliber numbers, it's been great to see this from the OKC Thunder, and it's just been amazing. Then you flip that to the Eastern Conference, and look at what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done so far this season. The only undefeated team right now in the East, 7-0 right now. They're averaging 123 points per game, 10.5 points better than what they did last year. They've seen a huge jump, and a lot of that's come from just better utilization of the talent they have here. There is way more balance on this Cleveland Cavaliers team than what has been in any team, even with the roster majority staying the same. And you look at Evan Mobley, he is making that leap that a lot of people question if he'd be able to make, going up from 15.7 points per game last year to 17.7 this year. His usage rate is up to 23% on top of that. And Evan Mobley's basically has made it to where you have to work him into the game plan. Yes, you got Darius Garland. Yes, you got Donovan Mitchell. Yes, you got Jared Allen. There were questions around were you going to be able to see the best of Evan Mobley with Jared Allen there? Those questions have been answered. The aggression that Evan Mobley has played with, you pair that with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, they have become one of the more efficient offenses in the game of basketball. And so offense is right now why the Cleveland Cavaliers are winning a lot of games, and you got to turn it over to a lot of credit of what they've been able to do and how they've been able to excel. And so far, the Cleveland Cavaliers are absolutely winners. The last time I did this, I talked about how the Cavs were kind of benefiting from a little bit of a weaker schedule, right? And I said going into the second week was going to tell a lot about just how good this Cleveland Cavaliers team really is. And you look at what they did last week, right? The wins over New York, the Lakers, Orlando. Now, Orlando was missing Paolo, and Milwaukee. Milwaukee is absolutely terrible. They're definitely going to be on the loser side of this. But, they've done it against better competition as well. They got, another week coming up as well. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, no matter how far they push this undefeated streak or not, it's the platform that they've laid out here and what they've been able to do on both sides of the ball. And the Cavs offense is just so special right now. And they're just playing with the level of confidence it's been working out great. It's been working out great. You got to give much love to what they've been able to do there. And then the last winner that I want to talk about so far in this season, of course, got to be the Boston Celtics. Listen, the Boston Celtics right now, they're playing great right now. Their only loss has been on the road in overtime in a 20-point comeback, right? So that's what it comes down there. But Boston right now is hitting 50.3 taking 50.3 three-pointers per game and making 38% of those. That's just what the Boston Celtics are able to do defensively. How their defense is really aimed to kind of just do what they do extremely well, but mitigate what the other team does well is also, it's been great. And Joe Mazzulla, with his philosophy right now, I know it's getting a lot of kind of controversy and conversation around the rate of the three-point shots because you live by the three, die by the three, and it's going to catch up on them on some games for sure. But right now, no team has been able to keep up with what the Boston Celtics are able to put up from three-point range. And then they still have that other gear that they can go into defensively. And Jason Tatum is playing I know I've said this a lot on this episode, but is this the best version of Jason Tatum that we've seen? Is this the best version? Is Jason Tatum potentially going to be an MVP candidate this season? Looking at, he's leading the Celtics in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He's leading in all those categories, right? And Jaylen Brown, for what it's worth, has still been no slouch to himself either. this has been really good to see, and they've done this without Kristaps Porzingis being there, who could very well be an X factor for this team as well. What the Boston Celtics are doing, it's been great to watch. And yeah, there's some concerns and things about their bench and how long their bench is going to be able to stand up, but like they are so good, it's so top heavy that the Boston Celtics, at least through this early part of the season, have just been fun and great to watch. And yeah, if it wasn't for what the Cleveland Cavaliers being able to stay undefeated, like they'd be the best team in the Eastern Conference by far. Their point differential is more realistic than what it was last year for sure. But listen, it's still been great to watch. And this is a Boston Celtics team that looks like it's coming off winning its first title, and they don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. They're playing with confidence. Sometimes with some teams, there's a little bit of a letdown. They pace themselves more in the regular season. But this is going to be a Boston Celtics team that is going to win a lot of games this season. It's going to be fun to watch. Now, with that said, let's flip over to the losers so far in this season. And I'm going to start off with this. The rookies. This is one of the worst rookie class as far as statistics, right? I still think a lot of this rookie class has very high upsides when it all comes down to it. But you have a player like Yves Missy, who's really kind of playing as one of the better rookies in this class. Like, you got to look at it. Like, he was a guy that people thought was going to be too raw to really contribute right away. And he's contributing on that Pelicans team like they need. And so, listen, the rookie class so far for this NBA season has left a lot to be desired when it's all said and done. A lot to be desired. But, you know, it is what it is when it comes down to it, right? Like, we knew that this rookie class was one of those rookie classes that you didn't really have the highest, upside to. And they only have one player right now averaging double-digit points, and that's Jalen Wells with Memphis, right? Alexander Sarr, Zach Edey, Zachary Richesher. These guys are all averaging less than 10 points per game. And it is what it is when it comes down to it, man. But this rookie class, definitely, man, this is one of the most under-heralded rookie class that we've seen in quite a while. So we'll see how that comes along as well. Other losers in this is, come on, man. And you know what? I'm going to save them for last. I'll save the Milwaukee Bucks for last. But you got to look at the New Orleans Pelicans as well. While I did mention Yves Missy on that team, you look at how many players that they've lost already. One game of DeJounte Murray where he almost had a triple-double. You lost C.J. McCollum, lost Trey Murphy, and right now this team is getting back to basically what they were trying to get away from. Now, maybe this benefits them in being able to move Brandon Ingram because he's playing really good right now for them. But losing as many players as they have early in the season, it just really sucks, man. They're playing at a terrible pace. They don't look good. Yeah, of course, you're getting some of those guys coming back as well. But right now, they have so many players that are supposed to be part of that rotation that, you know, already needed to balance itself out. They had a weird kind of rotation anyway. That you look at this Pelicans team and like the injuries have just, but hey, throughout it, they've still been 3-4, right? Still hovering around 500. They don't have Herb Jones, don't have CJ McCollum, don't have DeJounte Murray, don't have Trey Murphy III. Like, and still for them to be able to do that, even Zion Williamson, right, who was ruled out for yesterday's game, and to still be one game below 500, I mean, maybe you can take that as a win, but the injuries right now make this a big loss for the New Orleans Pelicans for me, and we'll see how that develops and goes for them. Next up, Nikola Jokic. Like, and not because of his play, it's because of the Denver Nuggets overall. Like, this team is struggling in a way that, I'm not going to lie to you, I did not see the Denver Nuggets struggling this way, and it's not because of Jokic. Jokic is doing what Jokic needs to do. He's doing everything that he needs to do as far as his own performance. They're 3-3 so far in the season. So at 500, maybe it's not too bad, but you look at what Jokic is doing, averaging over or close to 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, leading the team in rebounds, assists, and points like he's always going to do. But the bench unit of the Denver Nuggets has been so bad. Russ has been terrible, right? The offseason acquisition of Russell Westbrook, Dario Saric, these have not paid off for this guy. And you got to really feel. The reason why I listed Nikola Jokic here is because you got to feel for Nikola Jokic, man. And yet, like, he's playing great. His player efficiency, his advanced metrics, everything for Jokic's individual play is great. This Denver Nugget team, though, man, it's been so bad. And when Jokic is off the court, this is like a subpar play-in team. So it really sucks that Jokic is able to do what he's able to do, but this team just isn't able to give what they need to do it. It really does suck, man. And you would like to see it be better for this, but, you know, we'll see what happens there. The Philadelphia 76ers also got to be one here just because having Embiid out, having Paul George out, which luckily Paul George is going to be making his debut today. So maybe that starts helping right the ship some for this Philadelphia 76ers team. But you look at them, one win so far in the season because of what they have. And then just the drama that's consistently around them as well. Like being fined, Joel Embiid getting the tech, then the altercation. Like everybody's talking about the Philadelphia 76ers for everything other than the basketball court. And that sucks for any team to be in that position, right? And so when you look at that, yeah, you hope that the tide is going to start changing for this team. Tyrese Maxey's averaging almost 30 points per game in the absence of Paul George and Joel Embiid, and hopefully with those guys coming back, he's going to be in such a great rhythm. But this is a team that, we even heard, I talked about on my last episode, how they are reportedly buyers, that they're still open to make another acquisition if they need to, a big-time name acquisition, and they may need to at that forward position. But when it just comes down to it, man, the Philadelphia 76ers are not off to the start that they hoped they would have started off for a multitude of reasons. Like I said, both on the court, well, the players that are not on the court, things off the court, the drama around the team, things like that. And that's just not a good spot for a team to be in really ever. You do not want to be the team that is just talked about for everything other than basketball, right? So that's another thing that sucks, and hopefully that ship starts turning around for them. And then the last player that I'm going to talk about is Jonathan Kuminga. This has just been, Kuminga's in such an interesting spot, right? Poised to maybe break out the season at being, 22, 23 years old. But the Golden State Warriors either doubt or their own kind of history with giving Jordan Poole and Wiggins contract extensions, and then reportedly they could be looking to bring a veteran to add to Steph Curry. Like, all this thing has hampered what should be Kuminga's ascension. Now, you got to put a lot of that on himself as well, because I have no doubt that if Kuminga was showing some great things in practice or whatever, maybe that Steve Kerr would be playing him. Now, he's had some really good games after being demoted to the bench, make no mistake about it. But Kuminga it continues to be more about narrative-driven and maybe the direction of the team than who Kuminga is as a person. As a player. And, we'll see what that means. He has his own doubts. The Golden State Warriors are 5-1 on the season. So, can you argue with results? But Kuminga 13 points per game on 23 minutes. Like, it's not that Kuminga's necessarily playing bad, but he's not necessarily hitting that leap that some people thought he could be hitting going into the season either. And so with the state of the Golden State Warriors and them being willing to move off a young player to find an older sidekick for Steph Curry, could be something to be made there. Now, Buddy Hield's having a great season there. Draymond Green's putting up his best defensive season in like the last 4 years as well, which is crazy enough about that. And the team's getting it done, right? Buddy Hield just like broke a record as far as number of threes made in 6 games. Like, he's playing amazingly well, but all this has come with the lessened of a role for Jonathan Kuminga. And maybe that's the right deal for them in the long run. Maybe they trade off Kuminga to a team that needs a young developing star that sends off their own star that's kind of disgruntled. But right now, man, it's just everything is in a place where it's weird for Kuminga. It's very, very weird for Jonathan Kuminga. But all right, into the biggest loser of the season so far in the NBA is the Milwaukee Bucks. Everything. They look old, slow. They, again, are still getting bit in the ass from deciding to move on from Adrian Griffin to bring in Doc Rivers, who I've never been a guy who's really high on Doc Rivers as a coach. Yes, it's a small sample size at the start of the season so far, but they're 24th in the league in three-point percentage, 20th in points per game. They look old. They look slow. They don't know how to deal with the quicker teams. And with the way that the NBA teams play at such a high pace regularly now in the NBA, like, they just look like a team that's a team out of time, right? Maybe they'd be better with slower pace teams, maybe things like that. But right now, this Milwaukee Bucks team just looks like it's terrible. And I get it. Chris Middleton's not playing for them yet, but I don't think Chris Middleton's going to turn this team around with this. He may make some things easier, but with the inability to keep up with higher pace teams, you're not able to keep up with teams that shoot a lot of threes. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks just find themselves behind the 8 ball of where the NBA is going, and that is the worst place to be as a franchise when you're behind the place. Hey, I'm a Bulls fan. We've been behind where the NBA is going in modern for a decade, right? So, like, I know what I'm talking about there. And while Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, looked on paper like they were going to be a great pairing, it's not really been a lot that's come from them. The Dame and Giannis pick and roll hasn't really done much for them at all. Brook Lopez, it looks like he's getting older as well. He can still do some rim protection type things, but overall, this Milwaukee Bucks team just looks like a team that I don't see the upward progress. They're gonna win more games, right? But they look like a playing team rather than a team that can make some noise in the playoffs, and that's not what this team was put together for, right? And so because of that, the Milwaukee Bucks are in a very, very bad spot. and that bad spot doesn't look like it's going to improve anytime in the recent in soon at all. And so, hey, it sucks. This is where it is. But let me know who are your winners and losers so far on the season. And let me know your thoughts overall. Make sure you guys are following the show at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything NBA and basketball related. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video, probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.